who serve homeowners. So we help those home service pros to connect and to partner and then build long-term relationships where they're cross-referring and cross-promoting. So again, they're building their businesses together in what, some might think of like a B&I group, but instead of every week, you're meeting once a month, and you can.
Yo, this is Christian D. Evans coming at you, host of Journey with Christian D. Evans podcast. First of all, thank you so much for listening to our amazing podcast. If you find this valuable, this episode, please share, like, and send this over to a friend, and make sure you leave a comment below that and show our guests some love. Secondly, also, very excited to be releasing, never before released to the open public, our Be Uncommon Mastermind, where I've had the fortunate opportunity to network and connect with our guest, 8 and 9-figure CEO and founders on our podcast. And I'm giving an opportunity for our listeners right now, 6 and 7-figure entrepreneurs that are wanting to level up, they want to scale their business, want to take their life and business to the next level, and they know that they need to surround themselves with higher caliber individuals. So I'm giving you an opportunity to have access to my network. And I'm talking like Pascal Bachman, which ran a mid 8-figure business, Vinny Fisher, which ran four-time 8-figure business owners, as well as we've got Nick Cavuto, which has incredible network like Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, and so forth, JC Granger, David Valentine, Mandy Ellefson, so many amazing 8 and 9-figure entrepreneurs. And so if you feel like you're stuck in a rut and you're on a treadmill and you feel like, okay, hey, I need to level up your treadmill. Okay, your business is not able to scale up, move to the next level. Guess what? Then you need access to my network and some of these amazing 8 and 9-figure entrepreneurs. So make sure you go to christiandevans.com/mastermind-now. christiandevans.com/mastermind-now. The link is in the description as well. Make sure you click on that. Apply. You're going to have a conversation with me. You and I are going to see if you qualify. We're going to have a cool conversation, dialogue. And then what's going to happen is if you do qualify, I'll have you stuck in amazing 6-month, incredible, intensive mentorship with some of the amazing 8 and 9-figure, where you have one-on-one mentorship. You're able to have a conversation. You're able to connect, collaborate, have a custom plan on exactly where you're at and what you need to do to level up your game and your business and life. So that is christiandevans.com/mastermind-now, and make sure that link is in the description below. Until next time, remember, be uncommon. If you can, enjoy the episode. Cheers. Thank you so much for tuning in to Journey with Christian D. Evans podcast. I'm your host, Christian D. Evans. And guys, we have someone on today because he has spent a lot of his time, almost 25 years of his life, developing, producing, and just establishing incredible results in several large companies. He currently now is the CEO of HOA.com, but he's also the CEO and the chairman of the Champions Institute. He is a visionary leadership. He has also been building tech companies for over 24 years and the CEO of HOA. He's committed to connecting communities and helping homeowners connect with professionals they can trust. He was most recently the co-founder and president of Refer.com, the world's largest referral network of over 5 million members in 180 plus countries, which we'll be talking about raving referrals here shortly as well. Dive into that. His clients stretching from Antarctica to Zimbabwe. He's also nurtured and compassionate style comes out in everything he does. His leadership philosophy, which is we're going to dive into very shortly here, is the fastest path to prosperity comes through communication and collaboration. Please welcome my friend, Brandon Barnum. How you doing, Brandon?
Brother, I'm blessed beyond belief.
Awesome. Well, hey, I'm really excited because not only you achieved incredible results in one avenue, you've achieved incredible results in 3 different kind of industries, if you will. And what I'm always intrigued with is obviously that's a very high performer, right? Before we were on this podcast, you told me like, hey, you've got 3 big things that are going, not just small things, like 3 massive companies that you're working with. And you said about 90% is here, 8% is here, 2% is here. And I just love that because that's obviously just shown to me and obviously our listeners that you just have an incredible capability to juggle, if you will, all these massive things. And so my main question right now off the bat is really, where do you think that came from to really dive into that deeper self of who you are, Brandon, to be able to have a family, enjoy life? You're going to go on vacation next week, also being able to juggle all 3 of these massive companies.
Thank you for asking, Christian. Appreciate you having me on your show. And it really, that inner desire, I think I'm reading a book right now, and it's all about the Midas touch, right? And that inner desire for entrepreneurs, you're born with it. Like if you've got that fire inside of you, there's something you got to go do. And if you don't know what it is, go find out, right? And it's that vision inside that will drive others to be a part of that and really be compelled to want to help you make that happen, especially if it makes a difference in other people's lives. And so for us, it's all about connecting communities and really helping not only the homeowners that we serve at HOA.com, but also the business owners who serve those homeowners. So, I'm just committed to making the biggest impact that I can. And my personal drive is to inspire, uplift, and empower every person on the planet. So that's kind of the game that I wake up to. And in order to achieve that vision, there's a big game we've got to play here day by day.
Well, see, what's interesting to me is, you were the company of Refer, and then obviously with the company that you have now, HOA, it just facilitates just community and a referral and networking opportunities. And what I find so interesting about this is it is really the name of the game in the B2B world, right? Almost 80%, almost 82% of sales come through some sort of network of some sort. And so my question is really, how have you been able to dominate at such a high level in the referral side of things, growing massive companies without doing a lot of paid acquisition or even, merger and acquisition? It's just been focused on building those communities and that network.
Yeah, in full transparency for refer.com, we did do an acquisition that definitely helped us grow, and it expanded our reach for sure. But I got started in the mortgage business when I was in my late 20s, and this is back in the 90s. And I was a single dad. I was making $20,000 a year. All of a sudden, I had custody full time of my son, who was 4 at that time. And then I was faced with, how do I take care of that? I had a job as a marketing director for an estate planning law firm, and I couldn't afford daycare and my mortgage. I had bought a house, and I found that out because the bank let me know. They returned my checks a couple times because they bounced, and I had to do some things different. And so I was able to get into the mortgage business. And from there, I had somebody that taught me and mentored me in the whole raving referrals process, which I've now perfected and teach all over the place. And it's that core way of human being, right? Where we naturally believe recommendations when they come from somebody that they know. 90% of people say that they trust the recommendations by the people that they trust, right? And so if you and I are in a relationship and I say you should go use this painter, plumber, what have you, you're much more inclined to do it. On the B2B side, 84% of B2B sales start with a referral. Right? So it's that trust that opens the door that leads to success, and it accelerates everything.
Well, let me ask you this, because why do you think, or what do you think most companies are missing in their referral and their networking opportunities, and really maximizing, not in just a transactional, but in a relational way?
Well, they're not building it into their processes for the most part. And there's some exceptions. I think a lot of dentists, if you go to your dentist, they're often asking you, number one, to give them a rating or a recommendation, and number two, to give them a referral. They do a great job at asking for referrals, but most people feel uncomfortable asking. And so one of the things that we do is teach them the art of the ask, so that you understand when to ask and how to ask that makes your client the most comfortable and is at that peak referral state.
Well, and speaking of this a little bit, Brandon, because see, I've worked with companies that have almost like a system in place, but it's almost like more of just an email automation, and say, hey, if you know anybody, cool, wonderful, or like a referral system where it's, hey, you get 20% off, something like that. And what I've noticed, correct me if I'm wrong, what is the correct approach to facilitate the best referral system, as well as making sure that, like you said, it's the asking, but at the right time? Like, kind of dive into that a little bit for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now you're talking about the systemization, the automation of the ask, which every business should have absolutely as a best practice, because that automates it in your culture. It helps seed the conversation with your clients or prospects so that they know, but you just have to frame it in the right way. And what we teach people to do is that in that initial client meeting, once a client's chosen to do business with you, in that first 48 hours, they're actually at their peak referral state. However, what you want to do is just set the stage, is what we call it, right? Set the stage, meaning saying, Christian, thanks so much for working with me. And before I let you go today, I just like to ask you, we get most of our business by referral. And so not now, but once in the future, I've proven myself to you. I'd love to ask you for some introductions to other people like you that we can serve. Would that be okay? And the answer naturally is yes,
Yes.
of course. Of course it would, because I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm not asking for anything now. All I'm simply saying is, if in the future I prove myself and I do a great job, I'd like you to ask for your referrals. Would that be okay? They all say yes. So that's number one, setting the stage. Step two is listening for the referral triggers. Now, as you're serving that client, you've onboarded them and you're providing your product or service, whatever it is that you're delivering for them. Now you're listening for the referral triggers, which there's a ton of them in the book. It basically breaks down to an expression of appreciation. Oh, Christian, I got it. I can't thank you enough. This has been so amazing. This has helped our company save so much money, so much time, so much stress, anxiety, improved processes, whatever that deliverable is. You're listening for them, giving you praise about the product or service that you've delivered, because at that point, they've already said that they appreciate you. Now you simply say, I'm so glad you feel that way. Remember when we first met, I mentioned that if in the future you were thrilled with the service I deliver, would it be okay? Well, since you're feeling that way, I'd love to help other people just like you. Who do you know that's going through the same challenge, that's facing this decision or needs guidance, assistance, or service? Now you've got the perfect opportunity, and you're asking in a way that shows up not as self-serving, but as service to your client. And that's the key.
So when you're looking at this, because see, I can hear a lot of like just marketing, and I've been in the industry for a while, and I hear a lot of people almost throwing stones at, oh, you're just relying on referrals, then your business isn't growing or whatever, right? Or it's so inconsistent. And a lot of times I'm starting to switch my belief on this, because if you have inconsistency in your referrals, then that just means to me that you're doing it wrong. Would you agree with that? And if you could, just kind of maybe explain a little bit further why they would be.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And one of the things I would say is, why not systematize and automate your referral business, right? And part of that is not just what we call your referral champions, right? Past clients that love what you do. That's fantastic. Over half of my book, Raving Referrals, is dedicated to creating partnerships with complementary businesses and professionals who are already serving your ideal clients each and every day. They're having the conversation. They've already won the trusted advisor status with that client and account that you want to win. Right? So now, as they're listening again for the services that you provide, because you've trained them, hey, this is my perfect prospect, my ideal client. So if you're happening to serve these people, this is a solution that I can provide that's going to help them avoid these pain points. Right? So now you're empowering your referral partners with an understanding of how to offer, to add you as one of their solutions to their tool belt for their clients. Okay, so that whole concept of referral partnership and really building our businesses together is what I try and teach to every single person that will listen to me. There's so many people that operate as the Lone Ranger or the lone wolf. They're out there all by themselves, and they wonder why they don't have a full calendar. When you've got people that are constantly scouting for business with you and that really understand what you do and the value that you deliver, then they bring you in as the solution that the client needs. Those people are often already pre-sold on using you and hiring you before you even hear their name. Mm-hmm. I would
So
much
structure.
rather be in that conversation than following up with a cold lead that somebody has filled out online and I'm one of 5 guys who's purchased that lead. That's just not the way I like to build my business. It's really about relationships because it's the easy way. It takes the effort in creating the partnerships, but once those are in place, man, the rest of your career, you're riding the train because you're constantly getting those introductions coming to you on a consistent basis.
Well, Brandon, you're saying such incredible insight because see, I see, and let's kind of dive into this a little bit because see, what I'm realizing is a lot of these people, they run businesses, and at the beginning, it may be you that client and saying, hey, do you have a referral, and having that conversation, facilitating that relationship and so forth. And at some point, as you grow, you're going to have to delegate that responsibility, whether that's success manager or whether that be a referral person. But what I always find interesting is the fulfillment. A lot of people develop a good system for fulfillment, but what I've realized is they don't have any system that kind of it parallels to that fulfillment process. So like you just said, there are certain triggers, certain green lights, certain green flags that say, hey, you know what? This person's excited. This person's happy. Okay, now it needs to be sent over to Billy Bob, and Billy Bob needs to get on a Zoom meeting or a conversation with that person. So my question is to you, Brandon, is what's the most effective way? Like you said, there is automation, but I do understand, let's be honest, I get busy. Everybody gets busy. We all get emails, and then we all get just, it just gets piled in. We're like, okay, that doesn't become high priority of referrals, right? Hey, I love this guy. He's been able to help me, but guess what? I'm just so busy, right? And the reality is what I've noticed is the best thing to do from my perspective is when you're in the front, I have a conversation. Let's do it right now. Do you know 5 people? Look those 5 people up. What are those emails and do it with them? But I love to get your response because even though that's not scalable, it's tough, but it is long-term. So I'd love to just kind of get your perspective. If you disagree, let me know, please.
No, I agree. It's quality over quantity. Okay. When you're selling to a referred prospect, you don't have to have as many conversations to get the yes. Usually it's one, or maybe if there's a continuity, it depends on what your sales cycle is, but the sales cycle is dramatically shorter when somebody's referred to you. So you don't have to have as many prospects to increase the overall conversion rate significantly. You should have some sort of leave behind. And so if you run a business, have something with a QR code on it that's going directly to the landing page that you want that person to go through as part of that client life cycle, right? So you're bringing them through that client journey, and you're having a specific message because they're referred by somebody. What we're working on is a co-branded version where it actually shows the pro's face on the page, so that if I'm coming to your referral link, Christian, I'm seeing your face welcoming me to the network, to the platform, right? That's what we created in our last platform at refer.com and Trusted Team before that. And so that's how we're building the tech out here. But as far as that process, each business has to look at that process and what is optimal, because they have a different sales process and a different onboarding process. But for you, what you've got to do if you're listening to this is just going, where do I want to guide these people? If Christian was sending me a referral right now, what do I want their experience to be? Do they want to get on the phone as quick as can be? Do they want to schedule an appointment in the future? Do they want to submit an invoice or a bill that I can review depending on what service they're in? And a lot of that comes down to their personality code. And so this is one of my secret weapons. Have you ever seen these before?
I've not seen those, but I've seen the colors though. Yeah.
Sure. The colors, absolutely. But this is a system called bank code. And what I love about it is I say it's like instant disk. There's 4 different codes. And essentially, I was just doing this. We had an HOA.com networking event the other night. And I met with this woman and we started having a conversation. I handed her the cards, said, do me a favor, read the information on the cards and then sort them in the order of what's most like you to least like you. And that took her about a minute to do. She hands me the cards back. And in her case, she was this code. This was her personality: blueprint, knowledge, action, and then nurturing. Okay. So I told her, it's funny. We call this combination BKAN, and the BK sometimes means buzzkill. And she's like, oh my gosh, I am such a buzzkill. That is totally who I am. Like, I am over analyzing everything and questioning how things work and structure. And I drive my boyfriend crazy because I'm always asking questions and trying to understand more deeply. Right. And her boyfriend was there. She runs an HR division of Wealthability, which is an HR firm that's tied to these CPA firms all across the country, right? And so she thought it was fascinating because within 2 minutes, she had told me who she was by sorting the cards. And then I had spoken back to her who she told me she was when she sorted the cards. And it built our rapport so fast because within literally a couple of minutes, she knew that I understood who she is. Think instant disc, but it didn't have to go through a website. I was literally able to hand her the cards. And the beauty of this is that when you understand how someone is created to be, how they are wired, you also understand how they make buying decisions. In her case, if she's high blueprint, these are the magic words that I'm going to say to her in the conversation. Why? Because they create that emotional cascade, right? She's feeling the endorphins as we talk about the system, the structure, and then we go into knowledge and we talk about really, understanding information and the R&D and all of the things that she's just like, yes, 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 right? And then describing that to her and helping her understand and really get comfortable with the fact that it's okay to be exactly who she's meant to be because she was created that way. And then talking to her husband, it was like doing couples counseling because he's the exact opposite, right? He's the outgoing, nurturing guy. He's high action. He wants to go win big fast. And so she was telling me about this story that she was just telling her boyfriend. And she said, you know what? You and I are total opposites. When I wake up in the morning, it's like I have $20 in my pocket. And when I go outside and I have a conversation and, there's information to process, it's like it just cost me $5. And so throughout the day, after I have a few of those conversations, I'm just drained and my balance is zero. Whereas you start out the day with a zero balance, you walk out the door and now you're having a conversation and it's like you're getting charged by that. You're getting deposits into your account. And so at the end of the day, you've got $20. And so she was recognizing this, and this system helped them understand each other in a way that they hadn't before, right? Because it gave them a context and a conversation that deepens their relationships and really helps them communicate more effectively. And in a sales environment, which is actually what it was created for, it was created by a financial advisor who didn't feel like she was effective in closing. And she thought there has to be a better way. She had been learning about personality science like DISC and MBTI and others. And she said, why don't we apply this to sales? And so when you look at it through this system, what it does is it helps close more sales in less time because you really understand who your prospect is and how they make buying decisions.
Well, it's interesting. What you mentioned there is not just dealing with the client itself, but also internally, in-house, right?
Yes.
Dealing with other CEOs and other individuals and marketing director and HR, and you start realizing, okay, what's their personality like? And obviously, they speak and they talk differently, and they obviously resonate with different things. And I find that is very, very viable. But it's just very interesting that you mentioned that. So with this, okay, because I think a lot of our listeners definitely understand the power of referral, right? And they probably have some sort of referral bonus or referral system. And so I like to kind of talk a little bit about like structuring the right referral process, if you will. And what I mean by this is like, what I've noticed is very custom. Sometimes, some customers, what I've noticed is they don't want, a bonus. What they'd rather have is almost extra services. Hey, I'll give you 5 people that I know because you give me like extra services. And then some people may, hey, I'll give you 5 people that I know, but I want, 30% of the commission. Okay, cool. Whatever it is. So my question is, how do you structure? Do you focus on one path and then just let that be it? Or do you have like, with just negotiation in general, just have several tools in your toolbox?
Yeah, so it's a fantastic question. Thanks for asking. And I have to kind of table the answer in a couple of different contexts, right? Because if I answer as CEO of HOA.com, I'm going to give you the answer, which is we do a 2-tier affiliate plan, right? We'd pay 20% lifetime revenue of anybody you directly introduce. And then as those people introduce others, we pay 10% on the second level. Two-tier affiliate plan, stay away from MLM. That's just what we've chosen to do. We give people a unique RID, ref code link, that they incorporate that into their marketing, and they can nominate people into our network, and they get paid forever, right? So that's what we've chosen to do. Now, if I were with my raving referrals hat on and I'm consulting a CEO about their business, then it depends. It depends on what's right for them and their customers. About half the people love getting paid, and the others don't feel comfortable getting paid, right, directly as a referral fee. So in my opinion, the best way to motivate is to compensate. So pay the people who like getting paid. Those are the high actions. Remember, we were talking about personalities a second ago. These are the people that actually create the most results overall, because they don't get in, analysis paralysis. They just go take action. And sometimes, they're all over the place, but they create a lot of activity. And so for them, they love getting paid, and they love being on a leaderboard. So if you create a contest, if your audience and your drivers, your influencers or partners are high action, then give them a contest, man. Make it a game, because they want to win. They want to see the updates and see that they're crushing their competition, or maybe I'm in second or third, and now they're going to go out and do more as a result of the game that you've created for them to play. Okay, so that's one category. Now, if you've got an audience that's more nurturing, and again, it depends on your product offer and really the value that you deliver to your clients, right? So I'm talking holistically here. For that type of an audience, it may be a charity champion campaign, where what you want to do is, instead of paying 20%, you come up with either a dollar figure or some other reward or donation that you make in their name, in their honor. You can do that a couple of different ways. Some companies choose to align with a single charity that they want to support and really get in deep. They'll join the board. They'll really build their roots in the community. My wife just was named the Big Brothers, Big Sisters Big of the Year here in Phoenix for the last year. And so, I volunteered to be a big, and I'm looking forward to my assignment. And so we're developing roots in that charity. That will be one that we champion as we go forward, because we've seen the impact firsthand. But I'm super passionate about charity champion campaigns. I believe everybody should be doing that, whether you're donating a percentage of your profits or a bounty, a reward per transaction, for example. So I think you should do that either way. For those that don't feel comfortable, which is honestly these two personality types, the knowledge and the blueprint, it just doesn't feel right. They're so loyal, they want to just refer to help a person and to make a difference. And so for them, it's less about the reward, although you should absolutely recognize them. As human beings, this, we're hungry for recognition. So make sure whoever your referral champions are that are sending you the most business, thank them publicly, thank them on your social media. Again, as long as it's appropriate, you got to make sure they're grateful for it. But now you're able to add more value to your partners, because you're promoting them either to your audience, your tribe, your community, or even through your partners. So add them to your website, your newsletter. Just make sure you're celebrating your champions that are making the biggest difference for your company.
I love this. And so, let's say, for example, we have some listeners right now that have some sort of referral system, right? And they don't have it fully optimized, like we're talking about. What are certain actionable steps? Because I know you've mentioned in great detail in your book, but what are some actionable steps that we can help them? Okay, hey, this is another acquisition channel that we really want to focus on, because again, the cost to acquire a customer is zero. The conversion rate is just 80%, 90% if you're good at it, and obviously have a good relationship. So really, if someone already has something there, maybe they're bringing another $1 million of revenue a month because of this referral system, but they really want to scale that because they see that as a huge opportunity, definitely in the B2B world. What are some actionable steps that can help them okay, this is our next phase that we need to focus on to get to that bigger result?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for asking. So, number one, create a campaign, right? Decide whether you're going to pay or not. We call it a referral partner program at HOA.com and at the Champions Institute. Others call it an affiliate program, or an ambassador program is another name that you'll often hear. So, if you're going to offer a financial incentive, define what that is. You go online, you'll search. Obviously, you can get the Raving Referrals book and we'll walk you through that process as well. But you have to create the terms and conditions so that you can promote it to others and communicate what you're going to offer. Then if you've got an ambassador affiliate referral partner program, now you've got to go sell some people on selling your stuff. So align yourself. What we do is we have a referral partner manager who is responsible for that. So one person within the organization owns that and is responsible for communicating out to the community and tribe so they know whatever the latest offerings or opportunities are. If there's a special promotion or a contest, then you've got to have somebody that is communicating that to your referral partners. And then make sure that you've got a system integrated into your client journey, right? At the onboarding, again, we recommend that you sort of set the stage to ask at a later date. By the way, when you set the stage on the front end, oftentimes someone will give you a referral right then and there because you're making them aware of it and saying, I love to help people that are facing this decision in the future. Once you know that I'm great at what I do, I'd be happy to help. So there's a number of these different pieces and components that you've got to build into your process. So you've got to look at your overall client journey and say, when a new client comes on, number one, if they're referred, we have to thank the person that referred them. So you have to have a process in place for thanking. And quite frankly, what I'd recommend, Christian, is anyone that wants to go to can do the referral score quiz totally free. It's at referralscorequiz.com. In it, we have you self-rate yourself on the top 10 best practices for building a referral. And then there's a report that you get afterwards with kind of a summary of where you stand and how you can improve. So they can go to referralscorequiz.com and it'll take less than 2 minutes to answer the questions and to get their report. But thanking somebody for a referral, updating that person who gave you the referral throughout the process, even if it's just a text, wanted to let you know that I was able to help Julie get connected with this, or we just give him a proposal, or whatever your process is, right? We just issued an MSA, whatever that process is, you've got to customize it for your business. So I kind of have to talk holistically. So create that, make sure you're thanking, that you're celebrating and updating your referral partners. And then you have to have a system that tracks that long-term. There's software out there, there's probably a lot of people listening that are using a WordPress site, right? So if you've got a WordPress website, you can add a plugin like Woo Affiliate into your stack. And that way that will track your referral partnerships. You can assign your referral partners their own custom code so that way, if they're sending traffic to you, it's automatically tracking. And there's a dashboard where they can see the earnings that they have, and then you can use that to pay them out as well. So hopefully that gives you a little more clarity, Christian. It really is a matter of thinking through the client life cycle and looking at all the touch points and where you can integrate it. Quite frankly, we're going to be offering this as a service. We're not doing it yet. I haven't launched it. It'll be September, but we're going to be launching the referral structure and really putting that in as a service for businesses to come in, analyze their existing systems, and help optimize every step of the referral journey.
I love this because, for those that are not, have a referral system, I can see and visualize a lot of business owners that have, clients, and they have a list of clients, but they have never activated their really, optimize those clients and said, hey, let's just reach back out to them and talk to them and say, hey, I'd love to touch base. How have you enjoyed, working with us, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe saying, hey, you know what, who do you know that would love the same results? Boom. All of a sudden now you get 3, 4, 5 names, and they get squeezing that limit. So definitely with the reason why I wanted to have you on, Brandon, is because definitely with COVID, it really helped people really understand that, okay, you have to pivot very quickly as a business owner, and you have to have different acquisition channels for your business. You can't just rely on one, right? A lot of people focus on cold ads, paid acquisition, or SEO, or organic, or referrals, right? But when you start really getting dangerous and really start optimizing to the next level, 9 figures, is where you start really leveraging every aspect of this, right? Squeezing that lemon to every little bit of juice. And what I find so interesting about this channel is so many marketers love to throw stones at it, but I think this one of the reasons why you got like network marketing companies that explode is just because they really understand referrals, right, at a very high level, and really, the excitement, the energy behind it. But you could do the same thing with the B2B world, even at a higher level. And I've known people that have built, several, really 8-figure businesses just off of, from results. Definitely, if you could produce results on the back end for your clients. So I like to pivot a little bit because, with HOA, you're the CEO there, and as a someone that's been in the real estate industry for a while, I find it so beautiful. I have never used your service specifically, but I have used others that facilitate almost a very similar. But as I was researching a little bit more about, you have a higher caliber individuals, a little bit more expensive, but at the end of the day, it's quality, right? Quality individuals that have been filtered and so forth. And so, kind of tell our audience a little bit about like what HOA is, why you guys are so revolutionary, and what you guys see is happening in the future here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. We're super excited. We started this company out as the Homeowner Alliance with a commitment of connecting homeowners to professionals they can trust. We really have 3 different kind of stakeholder or client avatars, right? We're building technology for the HOAs. There's over 351,000 homeowner associations in the US. In over half of all Americans live in an HOA. So it's actually the neighborhoods that we live in. So we will serve the HOAs. We say connecting communities, and we want to help those HOAs have better technology solutions to connect, communicate, and celebrate in their communities, because a lot of homeowners don't love their HOAs. And we want to stand in the gap as an advocate between the two, because we think it's a communication breakdown. We also want to provide the community impact events, the charity champion campaigns, and some of the news and community tools to help connect those communities as well. So we serve the HOAs, the homeowners, and really where we make our money is by partnering with the home service professionals. So at refer.com, we grew that to over 5 million members. We had over 250,000 realtors as members of our referral network. And, realtors drive the wealth in this nation. You think about how much money there is in the real estate world. And when someone moves into a new neighborhood, they have to completely get a whole new set of advisors. It happened for us when we moved down here from Portland, Oregon to Phoenix 8 years ago, right? We knew no one. So now we're asking everyone, who do they know, like, and trust? So we facilitate and support that process. And then with the pros, what we're really doing is creating the #1 referral network for professionals who serve homeowners. So we help those home service pros to connect and to partner and then build long-term relationships where they're cross-referring and cross-promoting. So again, they're building their businesses together in what some might think of like a BNI group, but instead of every week, you're meeting once a month. And you can even start your own, what we call a business alliance. We give you a monthly alliance agenda so that you know what to say and how to facilitate the conversation. And it's much more of a mastermind, right? With the people that you know, like, and trust and want to build relationships with. And so you'll often have a financial advisor, insurance agent, realtor, mortgage lender, plus your home service guys, your painter, plumber, HVAC, and they're all committed to doing business together as a team. And when you have that approach, a client for one is a client for all, because we all want to serve the client with the best resources we can. And so we help people bring and create that trusted team of advisors that they're building their businesses with for years to come. And we charge $30 a month to be a certified pro. So it's a total no-brainer.
Well, what's interesting about this community that you've built is just like you said, what I found interesting about being in the real estate is, when you have a problem on your house, personally, or even your investment property, it's very itemized, right? You have an electrician, you have a plumber, you have whatever. The thing is, what I've noticed is that they don't sometimes, um, the larger vision of building the house or fixing the problem, whatever, it's not, the result isn't there sometimes. So what I mean by that is there's some miscommunication between them
Right.
because they're not invested into themselves. And I'm going to be, this is what I'm doing. The plumber, I don't care what he does. Right. And what I find so interesting is how you've been able to facilitate almost this relationship and this ability to say, hey, you know what is an omni-channel approach when we're coming in. Hey, this electrician knows the plumber knows, the roof guy and the HVAC, and everybody does this at a very high level. And the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people don't understand the intricate details that need to happen and the communication that needs to happen for the whole, whether it's a house being built, whether it's something that needs to be fixed, whatever it is in your house or in your investment property. And I'm curious, where did this idea come from? What did you start seeing in the industry that said, okay, you know what, this needs to be fixed. There's a need for it. And then
Yeah.
as well as kind of share us a few results that you have seen from your clients
Yeah.
because of the community you built.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, this came and started in the mortgage industry because I used to do this same process myself when I was building my mortgage business. I would put on a first-time home buyer seminar workshop, right? Or real estate investor seminar. And I would then invite out my trusted team of complementary pros. I'd have them as sponsors. I'd bring them up on stage. I'd feature and spotlight them. Why? Because I want to add as much value as possible to everyone I meet, but especially my partners that are serving the same ideal clients, right? And so I've been doing this for decades, so it's second nature for me. I don't know how to do anything else, right? Outside of what I know works, because I closed over $500 million in transactions by referral, right? So that's first and foremost. When you ask where it comes from, decades of experience, but I'm one of those guys that loves relationships. There are some people that don't want to be out there meeting or really building relationships. And so for them, they may be more comfortable buying leads, for example. They're going to have more conversations. It's a longer process. I don't enjoy it personally. I like having somebody say, hey, Christian, you've got to meet this guy. He's amazing. And then by the time I get onto a call or a Zoom, that person's excited to meet me rather than me having to build my credibility from the outset. So first and foremost, that is where I would start. And remind me, was there another question I missed, Christian?
No, you explained basically everything there, but also
Okay.
kind of give us just kind of the emphasis of like one of your clients,
Oh
kind of
yeah,
results.
results. Yeah, absolutely.
Build
So
that community.
yeah, I mean, we had one guy that started with us, and we've been piloting here in Phoenix, in Denver, and down in Austin. And so it really depends on what the industry that they're in. But like we had a renovation company that came in and they won hundreds of thousands of dollars in new business in the first 90 days, right? So major uplift in their business. What we find is that these people that are building their relationships and businesses together, there's some that will refer immediately, and then others are creating what we thought would just be a referral partnership, in some cases becoming actual partnerships where one company is integrating the other into their offer stack, if you will, their suite of services. And so they're actually bundling and selling the other clients' services on the front end. We have other clients that will package up and offer somebody's service as like a closing gift. And that way they're able to give the gift of one of their referral partners. They negotiate that down at a very attractive rate. And that way, again, a client for one becomes a client for many. And it's all about adding as much value as possible. So, people make hundreds of thousands of dollars in new referral relationships. And it just depends on the industry. We have people that are in the mortgage industry, the real estate industry. So people are building their business, and they understand that as they do this and they make this a way of doing business for years to come, like this will generate millions and millions of dollars for each individual client as they really take this on and integrate this over the years to come.
That's awesome. And just to see, like you said, those smart incremental things that HOA has been able to do, but have an exponential result because of that, right? And like you said, just having that foundation and that baseline, it just is remarkable. Brandon, I really just appreciate the immense value you brought today. Just talking about obviously referral system, the processes, the infrastructure of it, and really just kind of developing a good system to really optimize that channel. And then obviously talking about HOA and Champion Institute. I know we didn't get into too much of that. However, though, Brandon, if our audience wants to reach out, just communicate, just stay in your community, and just kind of get access to even Raving Referrals book, how do they reach out to you, man?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can always go to my LinkedIn profile. You'll see me, Brandon Barnum, CEO of HOA.com. So if you want to connect one-on-one, that's the best way to do it. If you want to check out what we're doing, you can go to HOA.com. If you are a home service pro or you serve homeowners, then you can go to HOA.com/grow, and you'll see our different programs and how that works. On Raving Referrals, go to Referral Score Quiz. I would recommend you absolutely take that quiz. It takes all of a minute or two, and you'll learn a lot about where the gaps are in your business. And then you can also go to ravingreferrals.com. And we've got the whole course there that comes out of the book and is a self-study with a video course. It's about 4 hours long, so people can take a look at that. And then at the Champions Institute, I would recommend you go to knowyourcode.us, and take the bank code test yourself. Again, you'll get a free report that'll tell you all about yourself, and it's fascinating. You'll absolutely love it, and you'll learn about that. And then if you're interested in learning how to use that as a sales tool, then at the Champions Institute, we can help you with that as well.
Awesome, guys. And those links actually will be in the description below as well. So make sure you're going to click on that, and make sure you take those tests and really understand your referral side as well as your personality, but also reach out to Brandon there. And again, Brandon, I just appreciate you being on. Is there any last words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience before we let you go?
The one last thing that I would say is figure out what's important to you. I often ask people, instead of the cards, if I had 3 cards for you to sort, and one was income, and one was influence, and one was impact, what's most important to you? What really drives you? Is it about the money that you're making? Is it about the financial freedom? And that's okay. And that should be part of your game, regardless if it's about the influence or the impact. The influence is how many fans and followers, how many people are hearing my message, right? Am I getting my message out to the masses? Am I influencing influencers? And then the last category is impact, right? Is what I'm doing making a difference? So for each of you, give that some thought. Think about it. What's most important to you? Is it the income? Is it the influence? Or is it the impact? And it should be all 3. And referrals are the fastest and most reliable way that I know to grow all 3 at the same time with the least amount of money possible.
Wow, I love that. Brandon Barnum, that is an incredible insight. And again, I appreciate you being on here. Guys, that is Journey with Christian D. Evans. Remember, be uncommon if you can.
Yo, this is Christian D. Evans, Journey with Christian D. Evans podcast. We thank you so much for listening to this amazing episode. If you feel and you know that this was valuable to you, please show some love to our amazing guest by liking this, by commenting on this, by making sure that you do a nice 5-star review, and just show some love to our guest. That'd be really awesome. Also, make sure you share this with a friend, a family, a colleague, someone that you believe would bring value to their life right now. And guys, we just want to say thank you again for just being part of our community. If you want to have more resources, don't be afraid. Go to christiandevans.com. You can actually schedule a phone call with me, or you can send me an email at christian.evans@beUncommonIfYouCan.com. That's christian.evans@beUncommonIfYouCan.com. Always love to hear some feedback, and let me know what is the number 1 or 2 things that you are struggling in your business and your life, and we'll make sure we have those conversations. Guys, that is Journey with Christian D. Evans podcast, and until next time, remember, be uncommon if you can. Cheers.